Let's bring in Hugo Lowell, senior political correspondent for The Guardian. Welcome to you. And before we get to discussion about the Mark Robinson situation, how do you read this announcement for the Harris-Walz camp that she has accepted CNN's invitation to another debate on October 23rd? Did this suddenly come about?
Look, the Harris campaign for weeks now have said they're open to debating Trump again. In fact, they said it the night of the first debate between Trump and Harris. And so I think this is something that Harris has been pushing for some time. And it's a kind of a way to goad Trump into seeing if he will take the bait again. She was very good at this on the night of the ABC debate. And people around the Harris campaign have made very clear that if they can get Trump back on the stage, they think they can win again. Trump has vacillated back and forth on whether he should debate again. There are a lot of advisors who think he should just go ahead and do it because there hasn't been a moment in the race where Trump has been able to cut through really past Harris. Harris still kind of has the momentum, even if it's slowed. And so they see the need for another event. On the flip side, Trump is very reluctant. He has said over and over again that he doesn't want to debate Harris again. And so I think there is always this issue now of Trump wanting to do something and his advisors wanting to do something else.
Well, but to your point, he did vacillate a little bit. He left open the door right because he said, if I'm in the right mood, whatever that means. But that said, let's just reiterate that this CNN debate that Kamala Harris has agreed to on October 23rd, it involves the exact same rules that Donald Trump did agree to in the June debate. They include the praise, the moderators, the rules, the ratings, all those things. Those are things that he had said, I did so well, and he was very, very pleased with his performance on that one. So given your sense of the Trump campaign, which you have gotten to know well with all of your reporting, do you think they will encourage him to participate in this debate, Hugo?
I think it's an open question. Look, there are different factions inside Trump world who think different things. There are certainly people around him, certainly at the top of the leadership of the campaign, who think another debate will be a massive risk. That much has been clear from that previous debate. There are also people around the fringes who are kind of raring for a fight and have really been pressing Trump kind of unofficially to debate Harris again, and this time not miss any opportunities to stick it to her on what they think is the winning point on policy. And so it's a faction war. And I think how this will play out will be also instructive on how the campaign's direction will be in the final 50 days of this race.
Hey, just FYI, we have a freeze on your camera, but we can hear you just fine, so we're going to plow ahead with you, Hugo. So look, Donald Trump has not just given Mark Robinson his endorsement. He has been singing his praises about what a great guy he is. How is the Trump camp reacting to this controversy? It is in a state they cannot afford to lose in November.
Yeah, look, whether or not this has an effect on the top of the ballot is going to be the most interesting thing, right? Typically, we talk about Trump potentially having an effect down ballot, and whether Trump's incendiary remarks or his controversial comments or whatever he does on the trail impacts the down ballot candidates. And that has certainly been the case in places like Arizona, Nevada, and these other battleground states. With respect to North Carolina, I think there is a cautious optimism inside the Trump campaign that this won't rise, that people will see Mark Robinson as Mark Robinson. And if Trump stays away from the state, then that will be the best thing for him to do, because the moment Trump pulls his endorsement, which is what some advisors have been asking him to do, they know it will tank that race, and they're not sure if they want to go down that route. What they're doing in the meantime is to make sure that Trump isn't associated at all with Mark Robinson. They have no plans to have Trump in the state. They have no plans, at least to campaign with Mark Robinson. And they have this issue of, the moment he starts doing interviews in North Carolina, he's going to be asked about this. And so they're keeping a very tight lid on the amount of media interactions, funnily enough, that Trump is going to have with local news networks, which, of course, was their whole strategy. They wanted to be like, we do a lot of local interviews and Kamala Harris doesn't. And so that's another dynamic that's playing out.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of no plans, I just want to confirm you've also heard there are no plans for Mark Robinson to step aside, right?
Right. As far as we understand, Mark Robinson is going to stay in the race. He has communicated that to the Trump campaign, which is partly why there is this freak out inside Trump world that if he continues to weather controversy, it could start to impact Donald Trump.
Okay, we got your picture back just in time to say thank you and goodbye, my friend. We'll see you again soon. Thank you.